Of course, our primary focus when we go to work, or I guess motivation, is the fact that that's the way that we pay bills. Sometimes with that mindset, I feel like we take for granted what a job actually does to you. And given modern days and the current landscape, it's very easy to get lost in the whole I don't get paid enough for this. Inflation is terrible. My job is very monotonous. I know how to do it, so on and so forth. And in the same manner that we can say inherently from a job we make money, I want to think about the other things that I can say that my job gives me and does for me, and maybe what it could do to some other people. Besides the stress and annoyances that accompany it, that we seem to dwell on because it's easier to talk about, I can say that at work, of course, given that I have stayed there for a long time, I have seen people come and go. And I can say that there are some people who are currently in the season to be present in my life. And I'm very grateful for that, because if it weren't for the job, I wouldn't have met them. I can also say, well, if I were somewhere else, who knows what other kinds of people I could have met who would have been just as good or even better. But I also think about, what about the people who could have been bad or worse that I didn't get to meet? It's one of those things that when I think about stuff like this, I like to think about both sides to the same coin. But for sure, I am very grateful for the individuals I have run into who have had an influence in me because I have allowed it. There are some folks who have tried to have an influence in me that I deem not appropriate for me. And for that, I am grateful because I have the experience of dealing with that. And I can say to myself and prove to myself that I don't talk out my ass when I say, if I don't want to do something, no amount of pressure is going to make me succumb. And I'm happy that sometimes I encounter that adversity and that work is my place for that. Because at work, given my experience and my confidence level and my age, I can say that I can make myself be respected, and I am respected more often than not. It is a boost to my self-esteem, which my self-esteem has never really been the strongest. And I'm grateful that the place I'm at has been good enough to where I don't feel like having the mentality that young people be having, which is, stuff is ugly here, stuff is bad here, it's nasty here, therefore I'm gonna quit. Besides, even if I had that mentality and I wanted to, I couldn't, because I actually have bills and responsibilities and stuff to stay on top of. I'm not privileged like some people are, to where some people don't have to worry about rent and they don't realize how good they have it, given that fact. I just know that even if I didn't have to worry about bills like that, given that I'm in there, I can't think about quitting. I don't like to start something and leave it unfinished or unattended, because to me, it becomes an incomplete project, and incomplete projects are a waste of time. In addition, I can also say that at work, I have obtained skills about how to deal with people that reinforced the skills that I already feel like I had. The most important one I can say I learned is to not take things personal. Given my rants here at work, it may seem like I don't deal with that well. I like to share the anecdote of the stupid thing that I dealt with that happened. But I can say that I don't take it home with me and let it shape me, like when I was new. And sometimes I would think that one person, it's really important for me to straighten things out with them for whatever reason. But now I can say that no matter what happens, whatever happens, it dies right there, and I don't take it with me, and I know that I did my part, I did a good job, I had my manners, it was just the person, there was just no reasoning with them, whatever, some shit is just out of my control. But I had to learn that from observing the veterans. Now that it's been such a long time for me being at that job, now I have become the veteran, and I'm grateful that I'm now in the position that those who came before me and influenced me into who I am, that's my role now. And that's part of the reason why I don't want to quit, because I know how meaningful it was for me and how important it was for me to stick around and see that now the people who I see leaving, who could use those lessons that I have in store for them, they keep running away from them. And I'm telling myself, at what point are you going to sit there, absorb the lesson so that you get to grow as a person? My job really hasn't provided me with much wealth. Like, say, I don't even get benefits there. And it's not like I get paid $1,000 every 2 weeks, but at least I can say that the little bit that I do make, I feel like I play with it well enough to make it last me. And yeah, there's just stuff that I feel like jobs provide that is pretty invaluable. And for some people, I don't mean to talk trash about individuals who maybe have made mistakes and it has been costly for them, but there are some people that, given their tendencies and behaviors, I feel like a job helps you stay out of trouble. Because there are some people who, when they have too much time on their hands, they just don't know what to do with themselves. And it's kind of like that one kid in school who just wouldn't do their work, and they would spend most of their time in the office, and admin knew them by name. My admins did not know me by name until my senior year, when I guess regularly I would talk to them to pick up certain documents and information and whatnot. But that's how long it took for them to become familiar with me. So that means that I never got in trouble for them to get to know me that way. So there's some people who should consider having a job and staying at that job so that they stay out of trouble. Does that make sense? So yeah, you guys, that's it from me, really. I guess one day I could go even further with the specifications of the other things that I guess I don't go over that my job I feel does well and I benefit from. But yeah, immediately right off the bat, those were the things that I could think of. So now that I have planted the seed, it's probably going to continue to just sprout, and then I'll come back to this. But yeah, you guys let me know what it is besides money that your job has done for you. I'm interested, and maybe based on what you say, it'll stimulate further input from me.